And here we are yet again. I find myself stuck in the middle between the common sense express and the stupidity bus. I feel like I'm the middleman between the logical way of thinking and the dumb way of thinking. For the Monday Night Raw review, I actually had to tell a plethora of people out there in the wrestling community why having Gallows and Anderson drop the straps after just 3 weeks of holding them, why it made zero sense and just shouldn't have happened. First and foremost, you had 4 different sets of champions in 5 months. If that's okay with you, you got a couple 2-tree screws loose, and this probably isn't the channel for you. Number 2, what is that gonna do for Gallows and Anderson? Even if they get them back this weekend, this upcoming Monday, or this upcoming Tuesday, what would it do for them dropping them 3 weeks after they just got them? It does nothing for them other than devalue and diminish their names and their careers simultaneously. On top of that, it does absolutely nothing for Rollins and Strowman in their soon-to-be feud. That's over the Universal Championship. The tag titles should have nothing to do with that. And on top of that, if you need tag titles to pump up a Strowman-Rollins feud, then obviously you haven't done enough correctly with Strowman and Rollins to begin with. That you have to sacrifice tag titles just to try to get this feud over. And that's what I had to do in yesterday's Raw review video. Enlighten people, because opinion is one thing, but if you want to separate fact from fiction and you want the clear-cut truth, you've come to the right place and right channel. And it looks like I'll have to do the same thing in today's Smackdown Live review video on a different subject. This one having to do with Eric Rowan, Daniel Bryan, Buddy Murphy, Roman Reigns, that whole mystery attack angle that at first, when this whole thing began, I was fully on board with because it was being done beautifully. I almost think it took WWE by surprise that they were doing this correctly. From the moment Roman Reigns got the lighting grids knocked onto him, to the interrogation of Buddy Murphy, to the almost getting ran over in the parking lot with Samoa Joe on hand. It was going off beautifully, and then you could tell they hit a creative brick wall, and they didn't know what to do next. It was almost like they wanted to rush this originally for SummerSlam, and then they realized they had something special going on, but they didn't know where to go next. So for the last 2 weeks, we have been seeing the same video package played of Roman Reigns getting the lighting grids knocked onto him, the parking lot incident, the interrogation of Buddy Murphy. We have been seeing the same video package for 2 fucking weeks. Nothing has been progressed in this storyline, and there's people out there dumbfounded that people could be upset with the way SmackDown Live went off the air last night. There's actually people, I've seen this in message boards, that are actually trying to comprehend why people did not like that ending segment. They're actually trying to tell people, guys, it was just for story purposes. Daniel Bryan was never going to reveal the actual person. It was a tease. It was just to distract Roman Reigns from the real person. Or in the end, it's going to be Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan, so they're trying to swerve Roman. Like, you need to educate people that were pissed. We're not pissed off because we don't comprehend what is happening. Unfucking real that people feel the need to enlighten the already woke, if you will. We know what's going on. We know Daniel Bryan wasn't going to actually reveal the person. And at this point, it's just going to be Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan anyway, so they're not going to give up themselves. We know this was a swerve of sorts, a tease of sorts, and we're saying it sucked. Are you comprehending what I'm telling you? It just sucked. You don't gotta explain it. You don't gotta work for WWE and defend them. We're telling you it sucked. We're telling you that the best they had after 2 weeks of not progressing this story at all. This story was dead. This whole story as a whole was a DOA coming into last night's SmackDown Live. Before SummerSlam, they had everything dropped. SummerSlam, there was no evolving of the story at all. Roman Reigns didn't even appear at SummerSlam. The next night on Monday Night Raw, he didn't even appear. There was no evolution of the story. The next night on Smackdown Live, nothing. Daniel Bryan says, next week, I'll reveal who did it. So we go through Monday Night Raw this week. Still no talk of it at all other than the video package. Then we get to last night, and finally we think something big is going to happen to evolve the story. Of course, we don't give a fuck if the real person is revealed. We want something cool to happen so we can have our jaws dropped and go, whoa, as we fade to black, and we have an awesome cliffhanger. We're telling you it sucked. 2 weeks of nothing but video, the same video, not even a different one, the same video package. That's all we've had in this story. 2 weeks. And the next piece of the puzzle was what we got last night, which was just Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan lifting up the hood of this guy who is just a lookalike of Eric Rowan. All he is and was is dipshit Dugenheimer. Danny dipshit Dugenheimer. That was the big reveal. An Eric Rowan lookalike. Was we supposed to honestly be like, whoa? Dude, it's somebody that looks like Rowan. How did they find that? Are you kidding me? Have you never been to fucking prison? There's a million people that look like Eric Rowan. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm hoping a lot of you guys haven't been to prison. I have, unfortunately. I was a bad kid. And I'm telling you right now, there was a million Eric Rowan lookalikes. If you ever seen a bike, what's a nice way to say it? A bike group? A bike club? There's a million Eric Rowan lookalikes. This was nothing special to a lot of people who have been around the world. A million people look like Eric Rowan. So they just found one person, a lot older, a lot chubbier, and they fucking put him in that position. He's already wheezing, probably just sitting. And that's supposed to get our jaws dropped and go, whoa, this is a cool story. We gotta see what happens next. No, not at all, man. We're telling you it sucked. You don't gotta explain what we watched last night like we're fucking not comprehending it. We comprehend all too well. And that's the issue. We comprehended it and overanalyzed it to the point where we know right off the bat, this was a failure. That's the best they had in 2 weeks. They had 2 weeks to build this thing further. 2 weeks of just the same video package, and they came up with that last night. Their big promotion was an Eric Rowan lookalike. Are you kidding me? Half the people that liked it last night, I saw on these message boards, half of them that liked it said they liked it and they enjoyed it because it made them laugh. I don't think that's the way WWE was trying to go with this. A lot of people I saw said they liked it because it made them laugh. It was funny to them. I don't think this is supposed to be funny. This was Roman Reigns' life on the line here, right? Somebody's after Roman. And yet people are laughing because it was so ridiculous. So half the people that did like it are liking it for all the wrong reasons. For WWE's purposes. So that goes to show you we're fucking right. And yes, this falls under the category of right and wrong. It's not even preference or opinion. After 2 weeks of just the same video package, you need to land a haymaker last night. You need to have a segment that's going to captivate us. And when that fades to black, that show, we need to see what happens next week because that cliffhanger was badass. Instead, it's an Eric Rowan lookalike. Roman Reigns is confused as fuck, as I'm sure we all were at that point. Or he was just nauseous by what he's involved in. And he's confused. He's looking out. Whoa, it's the same. Nobody's speaking a word. I would be like, what the fuck is that? Who are you? How did you get backstage? I'd be asking. He's like he saw a fucking ghost. Come on, bro. It's a fucking... I've seen a million Eric Rowans. Daniel Bryan, if you watch Daniel Bryan, he's trying not to laugh the whole time. He thinks this is fucking hilarious. He's trying not to laugh. Eric Rowan is like he just saw fucking his own fucking... Dad? Dad, you left me at 12. Where have you been? You can't take this shit seriously. And this was their big serious storyline for weeks. And again, it fell off the rails when they had nothing going into SummerSlam. Nothing at all. Nothing on Monday Night Raw. after SummerSlam? Nothing. Tuesday, he has a match, and Daniel Bryan's like, I think I know who did it. I'm going to reveal him next week. So again, even though we know it's not going to be the big actual reveal, we're hoping they have something planned that's going to be fun, exciting, intriguing, captivating. So we go through all of the 2 hours on Smackdown Live last night, and it all culminates in a hood being lifted up, and in Eric Rowan's fucking father, or what it looks like could be his fucking father. Do you see now, guys? Anyone who really enjoyed it and you're baffled. If you really just enjoyed it and you're not trying to explain things to people, then that's fine, man. Keep your shit. And hopefully I can teach you something, man, of why we just didn't like it. But if you're baffled as to why we didn't like it, and you're honestly trying to defend the company, what do you think? This is the best evolution process. Now we can evolve this, and the real culprit is still not found. Well, you could have done this a million better ways. That's what we're trying to say. That's the best that their creative department had. The whole night, we're going to sit somebody down in a hood, and at the very end, we're going to lift it up, and it'll be somebody that looks like Rowan. BC, it fits with the story, because Buddy Murphy said he thought he saw Eric Rowan at the crime scene. So this is somebody who looks like Rowan. Well, if that's the case, a 5-year-old could write that shit. He thought he saw somebody, so let's get somebody that looks like him. Well, there you go. Any 5-year-old in the world can come up with that fucking story. Let's use our fucking creativity cells. What do you say? Crazy concept, I know. Let's get fucking creative with this shit. Anyway, that is why we did not like it. Okay, if you honestly liked it, great for you, man. Hopefully, if you stare out long enough out that window, you're gonna get a fucking rainbow, and fucking Lucky Charms will be shooting out of that shit. You'll have the best day ever. Hashtag living your best life. That was bullshit last night. That is not how you progress what was actually a good story. Now it's at a point where it's a joke. Half the crowd is tuned out of it now. Half the crowd, I know, because I gauged it, is like the Amplified Man. Half plus just didn't like it. And most of us know exactly why we felt that way. The other half, or less than half that did like it, half of them liked it because it made them laugh, which isn't even what WWE was trying to go for. So no, this did not land at all. And it sucks, because that was one of the best storylines they had. This was the best storyline that I've seen Roman Reigns in ever. I don't care about his fucking Shield shit, because that wasn't just him involved. I don't care about what he went through with Brock Lesnar. The Strowman thing is up there, actually. I did like Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman's feud, because they got real creative backstage with the ambulance scene and then the parking lot and Strowman going nuts. So I did like that, but just pure story. This is probably the best light that I've seen Roman in. And you got to utilize an up-and-comer like Buddy Murphy in this. Daniel Bryan always shines in these type of things. If it wasn't for Daniel Bryan, this whole thing would have been probably dead a week or two ago. But he does keep it alive with how serious he is, until he almost cracked up last night. But you can't blame him. It was that fucking absurd. But there's so much good going on here that's how they ended it last night. Man, they got to rectify this quick. And again, I believe it's only adding up to Roman and Daniel Bryan. That's what all this is going to culminate in. And that kind of sucks, because I would have liked to see somebody totally new be the mystery attacker, you know? You could still have Daniel Bryan and Roman in the future, or even in the process of this story. But I would like it to come to light that it's not Rowan or Bryan, you know? Regardless, an Eric Rowan lookalike is what we waited 2 weeks for. We knew it wasn't going to be the actual person. Relax. We knew this was a swerve. We knew this was just a tease. But that's the best they had. And everyone's looking at each other like they're baffled. Again, if you've been to any fucking prison in the US, if you've been to any bike rally, if you just walked the country anywhere, you've seen a million Eric Rowans. Anyway, that's my spiel on that, my opening monologue, if you will. I don't know if I'll touch up on that again. I don't know if it's worthy enough to do such. Maybe when I get to the end of the program. Let's just start at the beginning, where Randy Orton kicks off SmackDown Live. middle of the ring, and he's repeatedly calling Kofi Kingston stupid. Which at first is kind of funny, but then you're like, damn, he's calling him stupid a lot. New Day's music hits. Randy Orton is fixated on the aisleway, the ramp, to see when Kofi comes down, but instead Kofi's behind him, and Kofi delivers Trouble in Paradise from behind. I guess out of nowhere? It's nothing like the RKO, but effective nonetheless. Trouble in Paradise takes out Randy Orton. The Revival hits the ring for the save, and they both get a beatdown via a chair for their charity. So the Revival is probably regretting coming down to help Randy Orton. It's the tale of two different sides of the tape, right? Because you have one side where Revival looked pretty damn dominant and badass Monday night with Randy Orton, and then Tuesday, they're looking like absolute fucking chumps. Getting beat down by one dude. One dude is beating up the Revival and Randy Orton. Alright. Then, for the 418th time, we all watched the Roman Reigns Mystery Attacker video package, because 417 times was clearly not enough. What happened to Roman the last 3 weeks? Let's watch it again for the 418th time, just in case you missed something. Wanna go Potter racing after? Of course, little Billy! Up next, we have the King of the Ring tournament continuing. The first match for Smackdown Live. This is Andrade taking on Apollo. They let him go 10 full minutes. And it was a good match for what it was, which was a middle-of-the-show tourney match that saw Andrade defeat Apollo with the Hammerlock DDT. This means Apollo will now go on to take on next week's winner of Gable and Benjamin, former tag team champions. So yeah, I mean, not much to talk about there. Andrade and Apollo, it's one of those things where that's great for Andrade. It's what should have happened. But on the other side, what has happened to Apollo? Or is this just it for Apollo? Has he peaked? And his peak was not even it wasn't even measurable in that main roster. But is he now an afterthought? Is Apollo pretty much done? Is Apollo pretty much, has he reached Brooklyn Brawler status, Barry Horowitz, and there's just no turning back? I don't know, man. The guy's got the talent. I don't know if he's got that charisma and personality. That's what he's definitely lacking. If he could just work on that and they had something creatively, Apollo is not a lost cause, I don't feel. But Vince does feel that way, so I don't know, man. At least in all of this turmoil, at least Andrade is getting a little bit of a rub and a push here. Hopefully that continues, and we'll see how far Andrade can go in this tournament. Again, he takes on the winner of Gable and Benjamin. Andrade versus Benjamin, Andrade versus Gable, any one of those matches is actually badass. We have a lot of heel versus heels in this tournament, or it's shaping up to be that way. So I would actually like to, in this case scenario, see Andrade versus Gable down the line. That would be pretty cool. Moment of Bliss is up next with Charlotte Flair. Charlotte talks a lot of shit about Bayley. Bayley comes out to confront Charlotte. Charlotte challenges Bayley to a match at Clash of Champions for the title. Bayley accepts the title match because why not give Charlotte another opportunity? She's only had 947 chances. She's only held the title 9 fucking times. We gotta give her another shot. It's not like the division is stacked with a lot of awesome fucking talent. Oh wait, yeah it is. But we gotta put Charlotte back there. She's our poster child heading into Fox. The belt needs to be around Charlotte heading into Fox. And I really think that by the time WWE SmackDown gets to Fox, I really believe Randy Orton will be the champion and Charlotte. We'll see. Things do change with Vince McMahon, but I think that's the way he wants to go. I'm cool with the Randy Orton part. I see no reason why Charlotte has to be your poster child, though. There's so many awesome females in that division that can carry that torch. Give them a chance. Charlotte gets another opportunity at this thing, and eventually she will get it again. Because Vince McMahon wants to get his rocks off by seeing her beat her daddy's record. And he wants to be kicking when that happens. Unfucking real, man. What was funny and kind of like cringeworthy at the same time, when Bayley went to leave, she shoved Charlotte off her chair and into Alexa Bliss's Moment of Bliss desk that that holds the coffees. Charlotte actually just went she got derailed. This wasn't like a love tap, a little love push for storyline purposes. Bayley just hauled ass on Charlotte. Charlotte just got chucked into the table. I thought she was legit fucked up. She seemed to be okay. I think backstage, she maybe gave a little bit of a receipt to her friend Bayley. Who knows? Hour number 1 ended of the 2-hour SmackDown with Daniel Bryan versus Buddy Murphy. The start of the match was the end of hour 1, but after just 1 minute, we went to commercial. And when we came back, we were basically in hour number 2. So hour number 2 kicks off, D-Bry and Murphy, the continuation after commercial. They gave these guys 10 minutes as well. Fun match, but in all honesty, I enjoyed Roman versus Murphy last week just a bit more. Actually, a lot more. I just felt what Roman and Murphy had going on in there last week was a little bit more magic. But still good for the 10 spot that they were given. Murphy defeats Bryan. I'll say that again. Buddy Murphy defeats Daniel Bryan with Murphy's Law. So everybody that said a few weeks ago when Roman Reigns chucked Buddy Murphy around in the locker room, and the Amplified Man was the only one in the community saying, hey man, this could be something, the start of something for Buddy Murphy. And everybody was going, that's the end of Murphy. That's it. They're already killing him. He's already ruined. He's already buried. That shows you what they really know. That shows you their level of thinking. And it shows you where the Amplified Man is. I'm leaps and bounds ahead of the game. I'm always steps ahead of everyone else. Buddy Murphy is doing just fine, and then some. Back from commercial, backstage, D-Bry and Rowan attack Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy was about to do an interview about his match he just had with Daniel Bryan. With Daniel Bryan. And Bryan and Rowan ended up attacking him afterwards and saying, you don't deserve the spotlight. Daniel Bryan was screaming, you're a liar, you don't deserve the spotlight. So, up next, the Revival took on Heavy Machinery. Revival challenges the New Day for the SmackDown titles before this match even starts. Between Revival and Heavy Machinery, the Revival is challenging the New Day. But isn't the Revival on Raw? Again, I know the brand split is dead, but you can't make it that obvious that there's no organization at all in the company. This team just shows up on SmackDown, and then they challenge for the titles. And if it isn't already, it's going to be in the next 24 hours. That match will be confirmed, I assure you. So this shows you that anybody can go to any fucking brand and just say, I want those titles. This isn't even just a wild card rule anymore. This is just total disorganization. This is total anarchy. Revival is a Raw branded team. All of a sudden we're getting, and that shows you what this whole tag division is. It's absolutely in the shitter. Now they need teams to just cross-brand for each other's championships. Fucking stupid. I said it in yesterday's review. Just take both sets of titles and just spray paint them the other color. Each title is fucking red and blue. Because there's no fucking organization, nor does anybody even remember who's where. For some reason, I just remembered that Revival was actually Raw. I don't know how I remembered that, but I did. Nothing to discuss in this match. Revival wins, moving on, right? That's a little bit of retribution for looking like chumps earlier in the night when Kofi Kingston cleared house with them and Randy Orton. Retribution over Heavy Machinery. Speaking of forgetting or somehow remembering Revival was even Team Raw, I totally forgot Shinsuke Nakamura was the Intercontinental Champion. I really did, guys. It's not like this guy had a fucking SummerSlam match or anything of importance recently. So I forgot about the IC strap as a whole, especially Shinsuke. And that is sad, man. That guy, that's a dude with talent that should be getting pushed with some creative shit behind him. They give him a title and they fucking put him in hibernation. Miz TV. His guest is Sami Zayn. Zayn says he struck a deal with Shinsuke Nakamura and he'll be his mouthpiece basically from here on out. Nakamura comes out to the ring. Full disclosure, again, I forgot the dude was even the IC strap holder until he came out with the strap. Because I forgot about the IC strap. I just did. Wasn't even an inkling in my mind recently. And coming out of SummerSlam, going into and coming out of SummerSlam, the IC strap should be one of your main focal points. And it's an afterthought. In fact, it wasn't even in my thoughts. But here's Nakamura with this nice shiny strap. And I'm like, oh yeah, Nakamura's still with the company. Oh yeah, Nakamura's a champion. And he comes down to the ring. And again, I'm not surprised. I mean, that's how irrelevant all the champions are in this company. But still, it was an eye-opener. It's like, what are they doing with Shinsuke, man? And then what happened? Nakamura and Zayn jumped the Miz. That's all that really happened here. Miz was trying to say something to Nakamura, and Nakamura pointed to Sami Zayn, like basically saying, remember, he's my mouthpiece now. And Sami Zayn started talking a bunch of shit to the Miz, and then Nakamura kind of kicked Miz in the back of the dome piece, and then there was a beatdown, and there was like at least 3 Kinshasas to the Miz's dome piece. So it was a little bit of a beatdown. What does this lead to? Miz and Shinsuke for the strap? Is that Shinsuke's big match for that championship? We're just taking somebody who's been there over 10 fucking years already. All this plethora of talent that you have sitting in catering right now, and the Miz is the best you got. So you have somebody who's irrelevant with the championship in Shinsuke lately versus a guy who's been irrelevant himself lately. Well, that's gonna be a fucking barn burner. That's a must-see TV match right there. Then we go to the King of the Ring match number 2. This is Kevin Owens versus Elias. Owens pleads throughout the night to Shane McMahon to lift the $100,000 fine levied to him last week by Shane. Shane says throughout the night he'll consider it. Shane makes his way to ringside before this match even starts. Or should I say, I think Owens and Elias, I think that match started, and then a minute later, Shane came to ringside with his music, so there was a little bit of a distraction. Kevin Owens is thinking, what the fuck? And Shane McMahon kind of sits at ringside. We go to commercial. Back from commercial, these two are putting together a plausible match, I will say that. Owens and Elias was actually putting on a plausible match until Shane McMahon reveals he's wearing a ref shirt. And Shane McMahon does a fast count via a roll-up on Kevin Owens. So Elias rolled up Kevin Owens. Shane McMahon, who now has a referee shirt, does a fast count, and I mean super fast, and he hightails it, and Kevin Owens gets screwed in this King of the Ring match. So that means Elias now moves on, and Kevin Owens is finished. So it looks like Shane screwed him again. It looks like that $100,000 fine is still levied, and you're not going to have a chance to be King of the Ring. So Shane McMahon kind of toyed Kevin Owens the whole night, and then at the very end screwed him. On one hand, I like that, man. Shane McMahon played that up beautifully. On the other hand, I don't know if I would be booking Kevin Owens that way. You just tried to make this guy the guy on Smackdown for the last month. And then you just have him looking like a fucking chump in there, getting rolled up by Elias. I don't care if that was the fastest count in the history of the business or not. You had Kevin Owens get rolled up. And then you just cut away from that to go to the Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns mystery attack angle. So it was almost like Kevin Owens was just an afterthought. I don't know if I would book it that way. In fact, I'm being generous. I would not have booked it that way. I would find a way, if I needed Elias to win, I would find a way to make Kevin Owens look a lot more fucking dominant in the process. And then we went backstage and we ended it with 2 Eric Rowans looking at each other like, huh? Huh? Daddy? Son? Daniel Bryan's trying not to laugh. Roman Reigns is thinking, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And Smackdown Live goes off the air. Intriguing? This whole show, as a whole, did nothing for me. If it did for you, cool, man. You were entertained for 2 hours. That's awesome. I was kind of Doinkinson's McGahee for 2 hours. Not really sure what was going on because I knew what was going on all too clearly. Does that make sense? Anyway, you know what I'm about to do, guys. I'm just going to start flicking everything, man. Yeah, bitch! I'm going to double fist some Starbucks coffees, guys. I'm going to whoop the shit out of Wednesday. Hopefully you guys do the same thing. Before this week's podcast, I would like to do an impromptu video. I got some subjects that I do want to talk about in detail that might not make it onto the podcast. So, as always, stay subscribed, notified, and when I pump out a vid, you guys will know about it. As always, guys, nothing but the utmost love and respect to all you guys. Absolutely, you guys are the fucking... You guys are the centerpiece to this fucking channel, man. We do this thing together and we continue to dominate in this community together. And I cannot thank you guys enough, but I try to. I try to all the time. Thank you guys. So hopefully you feel that shit, man, because it's genuine. I really do thank you guys for the support. And that's right back to you guys. All right, that's it. Enough with the sentimental shit. The Amplify, man. Yow! Check you later.